proximity kasi. Nasa north lang eh. Yung Taiwan, sabi nga ng mga matatanda, yung tilaok ng manok, naririnig sa Batanes. Tilaok ng manok sa Taiwan. At napakaraming mga kababayan nating Filipino na nagtatrabaho sa Taiwan. Siyempre, madadamay tayo. Kaya nga impinosisyon, yung mga EDCA sites, marami sa northern part, para maganda tayo. Unang-una, may ambisyon ng China, hindi lang sa Taiwan, pati rito sa West Philippine Sea. So, alangan man matutulog lang tayo. What if, ang gawin ng China, lusubin yung Taiwan, tapos isama na ang Pilipinas? Kaya sila nagagalit, mga kababayan, kasi ang ambisyon nila, sa totoo lang, hindi lang Taiwan, pati itong parte ng West Philippine Sea. Kasi napakarami mga kababayan dyan na gas deposits. Gusto nilang ubusin mga kababayan. Hello po mga kababayan, si Dante Maravillas, Bicolano vlogger, broadcast journalist from Albay. Pag-usapan po natin itong balita ngayon sa South China Morning Post, kung saan yung China nag-warning na naman po sa atin sa Pilipinas. Tigilan daw natin, sabi ng China, ang maglaro ng apoy. Stop playing with fire, sabi ng China. Kasi yung ating Pangulo, di ba, nasa India ngayon, pero pabalik na dito sa ating bansa. Matapos ang 5-day official visit sa India, kung saan pinalakas ang relasyon natin sa ekonomiya, pati sa military alliance. Kaya nagsiselos mga kababayan sa atin yung China. Pinagsabihan tayo na tigilan daw natin ang paglalaro sa apoy. Stop playing with fire. Yan report ito ng South China Morning Post. Mouthpiece ito, isa sa mga mouthpiece ng China. Beijing warns Manila to stop playing with fire after Marcos makes Taiwan remarks. Kasi nasabi ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, mga kababayan, sa interview ng isang TV station sa India, sabi ng ating Pangulo, ang ating bansa niya, have to get involved in US-China confrontation prompts a strong response. In an interview with Indian media outlet First Post, sabi ng ating Pangulo, his country would have to get involved. To be very practical about it, Anya, if there is a confrontation between China and the United States, there's no way that the Philippines can stay out of it simply because of its physical and geographical location niya. Madaling sabi, napakalapit sa atin kasi yung Taiwan. At isa pa mga kababayan, napakarami na mga Filipino ang nagtatrabaho po sa Taiwan. So talagang ma-involve po tayo sa conflict. Nagalit ngayon yung China. Do not stop playing with fire. Yan So pag-usapan natin mabuti mga kababayan ito kasi sigurado iti-take advantage na naman po ito ng mga DDS. Sasabihin po, kinakaladkad ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos ang Pilipinas sa gira. Yan yung dating narrative mga kababayan ng mga DDS. Ang narrative ng mga DDS po para siraan ang ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, narrative ng China. So before pa sila mga kababayan makapanloko, di ba? Basagin na natin yung kanilang propaganda. Baka paniwalaan pa ng ating mga mamamayang Filipino. Ito mga propaganda. Kasi ang objective po ng China, wag tayo makikipagkaibigan sa mga bansa tulad ng Amerika, ng Japan, ng India, European Union, lalo na kung ang topic ay tungkol mga kababayan sa pagpapalakas ng ating military. Kasi ang gusto nila, mahina lang tayo para madali tayong lamunin. Hindi po nagpapatinag yung ating Pangulo. In fact, yung ating Pangulo nag-order na naman po ng panibagong mga additional BrahMos missiles sa India. Kaya nagagalit sa atin ang China. Ayaw nila na lumakas yung ating military. We are being discouraged mga kababayan. Yan Marcos, Philippine buying more missiles from India but not for war. That is not for war. Only for our defense. Ayaw kasi ng China, mga kababayan, na magkaroon po tayo, ma-develop yung ating military. Magkaroon tayo ng kakayahan to defend ourselves sa kanilang pagmamalabis. Di ba po? Pero yung ating pagpapalakas ng defense ng ating military is for our defense lang naman po. At karapatan natin. Wala silang karapatan pangialaman ng ating modernization, pagpaunlad ng ating military kasi unang-una, karapatan niya ng bawat bansa. Ang defense ng bawat bansa, karapatan ng isang bansa. Remember, nang sila ay magpalakas ng magpalakas, minodernize nila yung kanilang military, wala silang narinig mula sa atin. Nangialam ba tayo sa China? Di ba hindi? In like manner, dapat ganon sila. Kaya lang talagang pinapakialaman tayo, binubuli tayo, tinatakot tayo ng China para ma-discourage tayo na wag na tayo magpalakas, para madali nila tayong lamunin. Yung kanilang masamang plano sa West Philippine Sea, magtuloy-tuloy. Hindi naman po tayo papayag. Lalo na yung ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, inulit niya. Not even a square inch ay papahintulutan natin na makuha ninumang bansa. What is ours, mga kababayan. Yan ang matigas na paninindigan ng ating Pangulong Bongbong. Kaya galit na naman po ang China. Nagpalabas ng warning, stop playing with fire daw. Sanay na po kami sa mga ganyang pananakot ninyo. Subukan lang ninyong pumasok dito. Lalo, nagkausap na si President Bongbong Marcos at Donald Trump. Di ba, mga kababayan? Just 2 weeks ago. At ngayon, mga kababayan, kausap na yung India. Ayan. The Philippines will procure more BrahMos supersonic missiles from India to boost the country's defense against challenges it is facing in the Indo-Pacific region. Sabi ng ating Pangulo, I've spoken to the officers and men who operate the BrahMos system and they say we need more. Sabi ng ating Pangulo, in an interview with Indian news and media website, First Post. Ayan ba? Sabi ng ating Pangulo, we are in the process of actually procuring more. Sabi niya, the Philippines is in the midst of modernization of our military anya. And so, we are looking to see what's most suitable for our defensive needs. Let me be clear, we are not gearing up for war. We are simply reacting to challenges that we are facing. The first batch of BrahMos missile arrived in the country in April 2024 last year, making the Philippines the first foreign buyer of the world's fastest supersonic anti-ship system made by BrahMos Aerospace Private Limited, an Indo-Russian defense contractor. A second delivery of the BrahMos missiles was made a year later in April. 3 batteries of the 18.9 billion pesos shore-based anti-ship missiles were acquired for the Philippine Marines after a deal was signed years back. So for deterrence lang po, providing deterrence. The Philippine Army wants to acquire BrahMos missiles for its land-based missile system acquisition project, which was postponed from 2023 to 2027. As the world's fastest supersonic cruise missiles, the BrahMos missiles will provide deterrence against any attempt to undermine our sovereignty and sovereign rights, especially sa West Philippine Sea. Kaya nagagalit po yung China na siguradong yung mga kakampi ng China dito sa ating bansa, yung mga DDS vloggers, sisiraan na naman po itong pagbisita ng ating Pangulong Bongbong sa China, sa India. Pero itong pag-acquire mga kababayan ng mga BrahMos missiles, hindi man pwede itong isisi sa ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos kasi ang nagsimula nito si Digong. Di ba? Kaya kayo mga DDS, hindi ninyo pwede itong gamitin na propaganda. Nag-armas tayo para makipaggira. Ang nagsimula nito na project para bumili sa India ng mga BrahMos missiles, hindi man po yung ating Pangulo. Ipinagpapatuloy lang, mga kababayan. Pero ang nagsimula nito, si Digong. Yan o. Yan o. The 3 batteries of the 18.9 billion shore-based anti-ship missiles were acquired for the Philippines Marines after a deal was signed December 31, 2021. O, panahon ni Digong. ang pumirma ng BrahMos Procurement Agreement po, then Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. 2021, mga kababayan. Kaya, uunahan na namin kayo, mga DDS, sa propaganda. Nag-iisip pa lang kayo na gamitin ito as a propaganda laban sa ating Pangulong Bongbong na nagbisita sa India para palakasin yung economic and military relations with India. Ang nagsimula nito ng procurement ng mga missiles, BrahMos missiles, hindi man yung ating Pangulo, kundi si Digong. So hindi ninyo magagamit na propaganda na yung ating Pangulo gustong kaladkarin sa gira sa China ang ating bansa sa pagbibili ng mga additional man lang po ang nagsimula dito si Digong, additional BrahMos missiles. You see, checkmate kayo. Si Digong ang nagsimula. You see? Ngayon, balikan natin yung pag-piak ng China. Lilinawin natin yung statement ng ating Pangulo. Sabi ng ating Pangulo, to be very practical about it, anya, if there is a confrontation over Taiwan between China saka yung United States, there is no way that the Philippines can stay out of it simply because our physical geographic location. Yung proximity kasi, nasa north lang eh. Yung Taiwan, sabi nga ng mga matatanda, yung tilaok ng manok, naririnig sa Batanes. Tilaok ng manok sa Taiwan. At napakaraming mga kababayan nating Filipino na nagtatrabaho sa Taiwan. Siyempre, madadamay tayo. Kaya nga ipinosisyon yung mga EDCA sites, marami sa northern part, para maganda tayo. Unang-una, may ambisyon ng China, hindi lang sa Taiwan, pati rito sa West Philippine Sea. So, alangan man matutulog lang tayo. What if, ang gawin ng China, lusubin yung Taiwan tapos isama na ang Pilipinas? Kaya sila nagagalit, mga kababayan, kasi ang ambisyon nila, sa totoo lang, hindi lang Taiwan, pati itong parte ng West Philippine Sea. Kasi napakarami mga kababayan dyan na gas deposits, gusto nilang ubusin mga kababayan. Pati yung hindi sa kanila, gustong kamkami ng mga Chinese. Huwag tayo pong papayag sa ganon. Sabi sa lupang hinirang po, sa manlulupig di tayo pasisiil, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. Kaya tayo nagre-ready for our defense. At karapatan natin, maya naman tayo sa ating mga ninuno, sa ating mga bayani, lumaban nung panahon para magkaroon tayo ng kasarinlan. Pagkatapos, hayaan natin sakupin ng mga Chinese po. Nang wala man lamang pong kalaban-laban, ito yung rason kung bakit minomodernize natin yung ating armed forces. It is not because we intend to go to war, but for our defense. Sakasakali. Di ba po? Sabi dito ng ating Pangulo, the welfare of overseas Filipino workers in Taiwan would also compel the government to act. There are many Filipino nationals in Taiwan, and that would be immediately a humanitarian problem because we will have to get involved. That is inevitable, mga kababayan. Kaya yung mga argumento nila na dapat we stay away from conflict, hindi po maaari na we stay away. Ang dapat gawin natin po, mag-ready tayo kung paano natin sakluluan yung ating mga kababayan. Alangan man nagigira na umaatake na sa Taiwan, natutulog lang tayo, pabayaan natin yung Amerika. Ika-mutual defense treaty natin yung Amerika. Pag humingi tayo ng tulong sa Amerika para sakluluan yung mga OFWs, pwede ba yon? Na ang uutusan lang natin, sasabihin natin sa mga Amerikano, sunduin na po ninyo yung aming mga kababayan. Ayaw namin maging involved dyan. Baka paginitan kami ni Xi Jinping ng China, atakihin kami rito, humingi ka ng tulong sa Amerika para sakluluan yung kapwa natin Filipino. Ayaw mong ma-involve, pero gusto mo, mga Amerikano ang sumaklulo sa ating mga kababayan Filipino. Pwede ba yan? Pagkatapos, ka-mutual defense treaty natin. Hindi po maaari ang ganon. May pipirintera natin lang yung mga Amerikano should be side by side with our forces. Kaya nga, Lagi tayong may balikatan military exercises kasama yung humanitarian mission sa balikatan, shoulder to shoulder. Yun ang purpose nun. So gusto ninyo, magkinabang lang tayo na wala tayo dapat na sakripisyo. Wala lang tayong peligro. Pero yung peligro na kinakarap ng ating mga kababayan Pilipino, ang gusto ninyo, ang humarap lang mga Amerikano. That is very selfish and that is almost impossible. Sinong bansa ang tutulong sa iyo? Kaya nga tayo nakikialyado. And this time, hindi lang sa Amerika, pati sa India. Alyado na rin natin, military agreement, yung Japan, yung South Korea, yung Australia. So, dumagdag na mga kababayan ngayon, yung India. Ito yung nakuha na mga deals, mga kababayan, ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa pagbisita sa India. Sabi ng ating Pangulo, we will have to get involved. We will have to go in there. Papasok tayo, siyempre. Or find a way to go in there and to bring our people home. As we do whenever they find themselves in areas of conflict. And that for me would be the most considerable concern for us, at least in the early days. Marcos acknowledged the risks and challenges of carrying out such a mission. We would immediately mobilize everything that we could to bring our people out. And that's not an easy thing to do, considering that you are in the middle of a combat zone. So, it would not be a small problem by any means, sabi ng ating Pangulo. The President's remarks came amid rising concerns that China may attempt to invade Taiwan within the decade, which analysts warned could trigger a broader regional conflict. Iyan po ang paghandaan natin, kaya may military exercise po tayo palagi. Katatapos pa lang yung ating balikatan version with India. So ito yung ini-engage natin mga bansa na tutulong sa atin po para yung China, masawata natin yung pag-ari-arian dito. Alam nila, with our, kaya nagagalit sila kasi tama yung ating ginagawa. Iba may kasabihan na pag tama ang ginagawa mo, ang kalaban mo nagagalit. Di ba? Tingnan ninyo na mali yung ginagawa ni Digong sa pag-deal sa China. Barkada niya yung China. Nakikipagbarkada kay Digong pero ang gusto maging province tayo ng China. Huwag tayo pa uuto sa kanila mga kababayan. Pag nauto tayo ng China, mawawala yung ating bansa. Mawawalan tayo ng bansa. That is the danger. Pag hindi tayo naganda, yun ang totoo na we are actually playing with fire. So para mawala yung threat, there should be deterrence. Ang deterrence po, dapat handa tayo, militarily handa tayo to respond para po magdalawang isip yung China. Hindi niya pwede natin gawin ito. Dodumugin tayo, kukuyugin tayo, hindi lang Pilipinas, Amerika, Japan, South Korea, Australia, India. Anong laban ngayon ng China? Pag ganyan. 500 yung nuclear warheads ng China. Yung Amerika, 5,000 plus. Sabi ko nga mga kababayan, position lang sa atin 1,000 nuclear warheads na pwedeng ilagay sa BrahMos missiles. Nuclear capable po ito, mga kababayan, na mga armas na binili natin sa India. Unang-una yung India po is a nuclear power din. So, hindi gagalaw po ang China kasi alam nila mauubos sila. Tama po. Ganyan ang labanan. Kailangan makita ng China. Hindi basta-basta nila tayo pwedeng lusubin. Kasi we have military alliances sa mga malalakas na bansa tulad ng Amerika, Japan, Australia, South Korea at ngayon yung India po. Kaya sabi ng ating Pangulo, given such tensions, it has thus become the responsibility of all stakeholders, including the Philippines and India, to play a more active role in upholding, defending, and preserving our rules-based order, sabi ng ating Pangulo. Ito yung exclusive interview, mga kababayan, ng First Post. Philippine President on ties with India, China, US. President Marcos discusses his country's relations with India, China, and the US. sa exclusive interview po ng First Post Managing Editor na si Palki Sharma. Ayan, pakinggan natin yung porsyon ng interview, mga kababayan, sa ating Pangulo.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of the Philippines is in India. Defense, diplomacy and deterrence are on the agenda. Mr. President, welcome to India and thank you for joining us here.
Thank you very much for having me, and I'm very, very happy to be here.
Poging-pogi yung ating Pangulo po.
It's your first visit to the country as head of state. How's it been so far?
It has been remarkably productive, actually. The very openness and the willingness from both sides, for that matter, to really try to find areas of commonality, areas that we can develop in every aspect of a relationship between two states. And so that has made it easier for us in our discussions to actually find ways and see what can be done between two countries and how we should move forward. So yes, I must say it's been very, very productive.
In your view, do you think that this visit marks a reset from a historical friendship to a strategic alignment?
Well, maybe not a reset, but there may be a added impetus to working towards strengthening and deepening the relationship between India and the Philippines. And when I speak about strengthening and deepening the relationship, we have a solid people-to-people relationship going back centuries. But now we are talking about all kinds of other. We're talking about trade. We're talking about specific industries, sectors, both in the public sector and the private sector. And that is why I say it's been so productive, is because the time that we've spent here, we have discovered between ourselves, between businessmen here, your leaders, the Prime Minister, the cabinet ministers who have been helping us, we have found so many areas that hold so much potential and that really should be developed. Now, you know, that doesn't mean we will be achieving 100% hit rate, but if you manage half of the things that we're talking about, that is a very, very significant increase in terms of engagement, in terms of partnerships and alliances between our two countries.
It's good to see your optimism. What, according to you, is the biggest takeaway?
Well, first of all, the very biggest takeaway and the primary reason why I'm here is the strategic partnership that we have finalized and finalized and formalized with my visit here. And that immediately, by itself, puts it up a notch, the relationship between the Philippines and India, because it provides a very, very wide-ranging, very strong and robust foundation for us to build on. And the strategic partnership covers because once you speak, you say it's for strategic reasons. We do these things under the strategic partnership for strategic reasons. Pretty much everything applies, and that leaves the door open for us to look into anything that might be possible. And that is important because in this day and age, there have been, because of the changes in technology, the advancements in technology, the changes in our economic systems, there are now areas that did not exist before. Just the digital space, for example, where India is a leader. Just in the use of the digital space and the widening of the digital space, something that never really existed before.
Your recent State of the Nation address is coming under a lot of scrutiny. In last year's speech, you promised to not yield even an inch of Philippine land in disputed areas. This year, your statement did not make an explicit mention of that, of the West Philippine Sea, but you focused more on non-alignment on Manila's part. Would you say you watered down your statement? Did you, and why?
No, I did not. You're the second person to ask me that. But the two things are not mutually exclusive. You can defend your sovereignty, you can defend your territory, you can do all of that, you can modernize your military, and at the same time, you can continue to be a friend to all and an enemy of none. So that there is a standing. Let me say it again. The Philippines will not cede 1 square inch of our territory. We will not give up the exercise of our sovereign rights. Ever. I hope that's clear.
Absolutely. I think this is a clear message to your critics and to your followers, who I'm sure are relieved to hear this. You're a treaty ally of the United States, and an important part of that treaty is mutual defense. You were also in Washington recently, and you had a conversation with the new president, Donald Trump. Are you convinced that if the Philippines faced a security challenge, the U.S. under Mr. Trump would come to your defense?
I am. Because the assurances that we have been receiving in those terms from the new administration, before I went there, and when I went there, and since that visit, I've been very, very strong from the Secretary of State, from the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State Mark Rubio, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and all the other officials, that the policy on the Philippines does not change, and that we use the term, we refer to the term ironclad, and we have to remember, as I mentioned when I was in Washington, that the term ironclad, as it relates to the relationship between the U.S. and the Philippines, was actually coined by Mr. Trump in his first term, and when he was asked about the Philippines. And I sincerely believe that is constant, and that has remained constant. And I'm not surprised, because we really have had a very, very long history together with the United States. It's been over 100 years in various forms. We're a member of the American Commonwealth. We've given liberation, still for a very, very long time. We had parity rights with American citizens. So it really is a very, very strong relationship. It really, and as I was explaining to President Trump, I said, if you stop a school child in the street in the Philippines and ask them who is our best ally, they will say the United States. And that institutional, that cultural, not institutional, that cultural memory maintains. And I think that too is that there is an aspect of that as well in the United States for the Philippines. We do have over 2 million Filipinos in the United States, so we are also very much woven into the fabric of their society, in a good way. It is, and it again, it has been a very long and very good relationship, and I think it will remain so. I'm sure it will remain so.
I'm not sure how many old allies of the U.S. are in a position to say that, but again, like I said, it's good to see your optimism.
Well, I wouldn't hazard a guess, but I'm only expert on the Philippines situation.
Fair enough. Another flashpoint in the neighborhood is Taiwan, and yes, most experts fear that Beijing will invade Taiwan before the end of this decade. If that were to happen while you're still in power, would you be open to allowing the U.S. use resources and bases in the Philippines to defend Taiwan, or would you rather stay out of it?
To be very practical about it, if there is a confrontation over Taiwan between China and the United States, there is no way that the Philippines can stay out of it, simply because of our physical geographic location. To understand how close Taiwan is to the Philippines, the large city of Kaohsiung in Taiwan is a 40-minute flight away from the capital of my province in northern Philippines, in Lawag. That's how close it is. And so if you think about it, if there is an all-out war, then we will be drawn into it. And I assure you, with the greatest hesitation, but we will have to defend our territory and our sovereignty. Furthermore, there are many, many Filipino nationals in Taiwan, and that would be immediately a humanitarian problem. because we will have to get involved, because we will have to go in there or find a way to go in there and to bring our people home. As we do whenever they find themselves in areas of conflict. And that, for me, would be the most considerable concern for us, at least in the early days. And so that's why I say we would immediately mobilize everything that we could to bring our people out. And that's not an easy thing to do, considering that you are in the middle of a combat zone. So it would not be a small problem by any means.
You mentioned the Indo-Pacific a short while back. Considering the evolving security situation, a lot of experts have said that we need something like an Asian NATO. I know that the Quad has often been called an Asian NATO, but we are far from a mutual security umbrella in the Quad. Do you think having a grouping like that is going to help, or will it exacerbate the tensions? And if we were to have such a group, who would you see as part of it?
NATO?
Yes.
Well, you know, the origins of ASEAN have to do with something like that. After the establishment of NATO in Europe, there was an attempt by the Americans to establish Seattle. It existed for a while, Southeast Asian Treaty Organization, very, very similar to NATO. But most of the leaders in Southeast Asia thought that they could do a better job by themselves. Led by, I remember very well because I was still in school, but I remember the discussion, led by my father and then Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew. And then slowly Malaysia came to join, other countries came to join, and that's how ASEAN was born. ASEAN was born in Singapore, I remember. So this is for us that serves that purpose. That serves the purpose for that aggregation. However, since we now define the region that needs to work together as Indo-Pacific, then ASEAN may be no longer enough. Maybe there has to be more. But even if you watch ASEAN has involved more and more countries every time that we have our summits. And we have ASEAN, we have the ASEAN, we have the APEC, we have the ASEAN Plus, we have the ASEAN Plus Gulf countries, we have the ASEAN Plus China. And so it's evolving that way, and it's evolving. So although they are not members, and we just welcomed, we're about to welcome as a full member from observer status. But although they're not members, they're very part of the discussion now, and I think that's absolutely the right way, the right direction to go, because these forces of instability that we have just been suffering. Number one, we still are, for all intents and purposes, still suffering some of the ravages of COVID. So there is that, and then the wars all around the world. And then now, the impending trade war. These are all global instability, hugely global forces.
O ngayon, tuwang-tuwa yung nag-interview sa ating Pangulo. Kasi yung interview niya po mahaba. 2 hours and 40 minutes yata. Ang daming napag-usapan, mga kababayan. Kaya sabi po ni Palki Sharma, yung nag-interview sa kanya, pakinggan niyo po.
Mr. President, for your time and for your candor. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your time and for your candor. You've taken all the questions, and you said that we are in an age of uncertainties. I think at this stage, I think the world needs leaders who can balance allies, adversaries, and domestic expectations, leaders like you. Thank you very much.
I fully agree with you. Thank you very much.
Sa mga naghanap ng malinis and spacious fitness gym, pumunta lang po kayo sa aming Colossal Fitness Gym. We also offer Grab Car Rental with our brand new 2023 model ng Toyota Innova. We also accept booking for those who are planning to travel via PAL, Cebu Pacific, and other airline companies, local and international, and bills payment for Meralco Bills, PLDT, Aleco Bills, etc. Ang Colossal Fitness Gym is located at 3rd floor Security Bank Building, Landco Business Park, Legazpi City, Albay. For inquiries, look for Chilon Maravillas. Contact number 0966-802-0949. Yan yung aming Innova. Lagi na pong matao sa amin. Pati mga foreigners po, tingnan ninyo. Mga British tourists sila. Ang lalaki ng katawan na, mga kababayan, nag-gym sa amin. Ito naman po, Indian National. Ito mga mga European sila. Ito naman yung bago naming product na binibenta online, Eye Glow Serum. Whitening po siya galing sa South Korea. Tingnan ninyo yung epekto sa aking anak na architect entrepreneur, Riz Maravillas. For inquiries, look for Riz Maravillas on FB.
Ito naman po yung Firmax Firming and Lifting Cream. Pinapahid po ito sa mga pulses and affected area. Mainam po ito sa mga pains at paninigas ng mga kaso-kasuan.
Ito po, Automax Radiant Serum. Sa mukha naman yung application. Anti-aging po siya. You will look 10 years younger than your age.
Ito naman po yung bago naming product na binibenta online. I am worldwide amazing pure organic barley powdered drink mix from Australia. Endorsed by actress cancer survivor Maritoni Fernandez. May promo po ang company. Yung gustong magnegosyo po, contact ninyo yung aking anak na architect entrepreneur, Riz Maravillas. Sa mga mahilig naman po, sa mga imported bags in wallets, contact niyo po si Madam Aileen Rosales, Aileen Closet po, nakabase sa Amerika.